on.
Oh,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to KindSoup. On our agenda today is a mint pea soup. I think it can be served hot or cold, and we're being led by Carol Weil, who has made this soup in the past and is making it again today. But she's also come up with another soup that we late added to the website that I think you're going to talk about both of them today, right, Carol? And people
right,
can take bits and
right.
pieces out of. Okay, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you, Deb, and welcome everybody. And so the reason I started shopping around and looking at other pea soups was I do not have a lot of mint right now. And the minty pea soup is wonderful. We actually have made it before, and it's very perfect for summer. It's very light. It's very sort of pungent, and it has that, if you love mint, it's a really inspired combination, the pea and the mint. But I was sort of looking around and I found this ottolenghi recipe, which looked very interesting, which I haven't done before, which is also using peas, but it's with zucchini and basil. And I happen to have a lot of fresh basil. So I thought, all right, I will add that to the website. And I am actually doing a little bit of a hybrid, like the ottolenghi one does not call for carrots and it does not call for parsley, but I already had that in abundance because I had thought originally I was going to make the minty pea soup. And then, so I'm going to throw some of that in. So this is really going to be like green vegetable vegan soup in my opinion.
Sounds good.
You sort of can't go wrong. And that was a part of why I thought it would be a fun message to impart. And so everyone's soup this time could potentially taste quite different, but it's sometimes we all follow the same recipe and it still tastes different. So
Right.
there,
Right.
there you have it.
I wish you had told me, Carol. I wish you had told me. I have access to a vast supply of mint in my neighbor's backyard, and she would have been thrilled. I had no idea. You didn't say anything.
Oh, well, next time, at some point, I will, what is that great rum drink with mint?
Yes.
I
The
can't.
Brazilian caipirinha.
Oh, caipirinha is wonderful, but this
Yeah.
is just
Mojito?
Mojito. Thank you. Yes, next time I want to have either a caipirinha or a mojito party, I'm calling you, Marge. Or I want to make minty pea soup. But anyway, and also I thought since we'd done the minty before and we haven't done the others, if people wanted to experiment. So honestly, they're very similar in that they're basically broth, your greens, and very little spicing. I mean, it's like salt and pepper, I think, is it. And the ottolenghi one you add at the end, you can add feta on top and lemon. So it makes it a little bit more like Middle Eastern-ish. And the minty pea soup is really more just very fresh and green. So anyway, first thing you do, you're probably all there already, is throw in your oil. If you haven't done your chopping yet, go ahead and do that. But basically, throw in your oil. And if you're doing the zucchini one, you can start with your garlic. I meant olive oil and garlic. And if you're doing the minty pea soup, throw in the onion and the leek and just get started. And the rest, these are really simple recipes. So I'll just let Marge talk about temperatures in Egypt and anyone else weigh in who would like to.
So what these Egyptians said, we were talking about the heat, and they said, oh, this heat was nothing. It's 42, 44 degrees Celsius in Egypt. Joyce, how hot is it in Africa? Unmute.
Okay, you've got to remember, Africa is a big continent. Egypt is way the heck far north. So of course, and whereas Kenya is very close to the equator, it's the same as New Zealand now. It's winter there. Now, having said winter, it all ranges from maybe 55 degrees to 72 degrees. It's fantastic.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
It's wonderful weather. Yeah.
Great.
So big time difference between Egypt, which is hazy hot, and yes, horrible now. Kind of like Beijing is now.
The reason this came up is they're planning on going to Florida. They're taking the family to Orlando, and they've got the the people from Egypt have a 16 and a half year old and a 15-year-old, and the neighbors have, I think, like a 14-year-old and two 12-year-olds. So it'll be fun. A bunch of teenagers basically at Disneyland. And it should be great for them, I think. Who knows?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, the weather down in Florida is hideous. So
exactly.
I hope it breaks between now and when they get here. It's horrid.
Well, and that was exactly the point, is that the weather down there is just, I mean, they had something on the news up here about the temperature of the water temperature being 101.
Yeah, at Key West. Yeah,
I heard that. In Florida, it's 101. I mean, how do you cool off in 101 water?
I have to tell you, I've been down here since last Wednesday. I don't think I've spent more than like 5 minutes outside of the house. It's awful, awful.
Yeah.
And people don't really like to live in cold air in their own homes either. So
yeah. So what are people doing? They're just,
well, the coral is dying because it can't take the hot water.
yeah.
And of
course, lots of marine life is dying. It's terrible.
Yep. Yep. So
anyway, horrible what's going on.
Well, we can all rest assured that eating soups like this is very good for the environment. It's very carbon footprint friendly. So,
how much do I love Carol Weil?
Yeah.
Was she there when they made the frozen peas? Come on, I don't believe that for an instant.
Well, that's true. Fresh peas would be better.
And much more expensive.
Did everybody lose power on Saturday night?
We did not, but my daughter in Rockville did. Did you lose power, Joyce?
Yeah.
Oh.
My daughter got sent home from work in Northern Virginia on Friday because they lost power at the office.
Oh.
How long was the power out?
I don't know.
I don't know. I fell asleep. It really was comfortable. It wasn't bad at all because the temperature dropped so much. When I woke up, by 7 o'clock the next day, the power was back on. So, it was nothing.
But our son-in-law came over because he had to work. He had to do some work. And he said, well, I'm going to go for a walk first. And it was already dark outside. He said, and then I'll come back and I'll do some work. And while he was on the walk, my daughter called him to say, oh, the power's back on. So that must have been 9 o'clock maybe. It wasn't terrible. But we went to Glen Echo on the next day. They sent a note saying that they were going to make a decision at 11 a.m. They were closed until noon. And then they never sent a second note. So I assumed they were open. So we went to Glen Echo, and guess what? They were closed because they had so many trees down, and they were more worried about the ones that were dangling that might fall.
Right. Yeah, Glen Echo and MacArthur Boulevard, down around Sibley and Palisades.
Oh, even up by us, even near Glen Echo, we had to do a detour to go up back to River to come back down to get there.
Yeah, so I guess we were lucky. I didn't have any damage. So, yeah. But boy, the beautiful trees along Cathedral and, over by Palisades, Loughborough, particularly. You've got probably 100-year-old trees that are down. And those streets are still closed.
What a mess we're making of our world.
Yes.
Sue, I have not to raise an issue of as great importance as what Deb was just pointing out about our world, but I have a smoke point question about oil that maybe Marcia, the lifestyle medicine expert, can answer. So, Marcia, I heard from a friend of ours last night that it's actually healthier to use an oil that has a higher smoke point, because if you overcook, which I always do because I leave it on, like the canola oil or the olive oil, and to the point where it's smoking, then it actually converts to saturated fat. Is that true? And the oil. Now, this friend who told me this is a lawyer, so I'm like, with a smile, I said, "Oh, that's so interesting," thinking I'm going to check this out with somebody else. But
So I'm not sure it turns to saturated fat, but it can lead to toxins evidently. But what I've been using lately is avocado oil, which has a higher smoke point.
I do like, and grapeseed too, but avocado oil I love. It's just pretty expensive, so I tend not to use it for everything, but maybe I should just start doing it.
Well, Costco,
Yeah.
Costco is the spray avocado oil.
Oh, the spray. Okay. So
but also I do get avocado oil occasionally. I mean, for most cooking, I would say canola or olive oil. But yeah, if you're concerned that you're going to be at a high temperature, avocado oil is your oil.
Is your oil. Okay. Well, I always try to make it high if I'm cooking vegetables or onion or something, because I don't want the oil to stick to the food, and then so you need it somewhat high. But I guess it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be smoking hot, right?
Right, yeah.
I have to ask a recipe question.
Okay.
I realized that it doesn't tell you when to put the carrots in. When do the carrots go in? Oops.
Let's see.
I should have done it with the onions, right?
Yeah, I put my parsnips in it at the beginning because
I would put them in before the peas, but if you already added the peas, don't worry. They'll it's all going to get pureed. So they'll if you're worried, stick them in the microwave just to soften them.
I had already added the broth when I kept reading about the carrots, and it wasn't there. So it probably should have gone in right after the onions before the broth, but the broth is coming to a boil and the carrots will be very happy, I'm sure.
Yes, they'll be happy with the broth.
Okay.
I'm using Deb's suggestion of I made the broth from last week's leek greens, and now it's a very nice kind of mild broth. It's quite nice. So it'll however many cups, it'll be that plus other broth with
Marsha, I always make my own vegetable broth, and it usually has a lot. It really is onion forward because we use a lot of onions, but I try to use like any mushrooms that start to get a little bit meh. I throw them in rather than drinking them. And Deb, I do want to thank you for being an inspiration.
Aw, thanks, Marge.
Anytime. And so if you were in Florida, whose car was it I saw at the Potomac Giant with the nice KindWorks sticker right on the side of it, a blue SUV?
Did it have flower power?
Yes, a flower type thing, yeah.
Flower power, that's Julia Wong.
Okay, that's very nice. How come we all don't have nice KindWorks stickers for our car?
Yeah.
Now that I know that is something that any of you want, guess what you might be getting for an early Christmas Hanukkah gift?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yay!
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And, I have a 10-year-old car. So, hey, I'll stick anything on it.
All right. Well, next time I swing by with anything else, anyone who would like a KindWorks sticker for their car, they're like this big, you guys. They aren't really obtrusive at all. But if you want one, I would be thrilled. You too, Hannah. I'll bring them up to New York.
What I was really impressed with was that the car was so clean, and my car is always so dirty. I was like, oh my goodness. First
and that Julia schleps a lot of stuff so that she keeps a clean car.
She clearly has a garage. I don't own a garage. If I had a garage, maybe my car could stay clean, but it just doesn't happen.
Oh, hey, you've got a good excuse, Marge.
Exactly. We all have to make peace with our own imperfections, don't we? Mine is a longer list than most of yours, and I'm working hard on it.
I just finished my soup, and I did the minty pea soup.
Yeah, tell us.
I tried putting a little feta on it, and it was delicious.
Oh, I love the sound of that.
So
you took Cherry, was it the Ottolenghi recipe that inspired you to try feta?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Carol, look at you.
And Carol saying she could add feta to hers, and I'm thinking, I want feta on mine.
There you go.
So I tried it.
I love that. And the feta and
totally the spirit of sharing cultures and sharing ideas and cross-cultural connections. So I just love that.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you like it, Terry. Are you putting the feta as you serve it, or are you going to put it in the soup and just stir it around as you freeze it too?
I don't think I would put it in the soup
Okay.
itself. I'm just putting it on top, and I can see that it would be good cold. I wouldn't put it on cold soup, I don't think, but it was good. It's good on the warm soup.
Ah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Did you salt? How much salt did you add?
I added like a palmful, probably about a tablespoon or so. I didn't measure. I just kind of put it in my hand and threw it in there. So,
Okay.
But the feta is going to add salt.
And it was also coarse kosher salt, so it wasn't, it's going to be less salty than a finer salt.
Okay.
And I did a bunch of pepper too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of bland without the salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I think both of these are going to need decent amounts because they both don't have other spices. But if you use a broth that's really salty or a broth base that's salty, then cut back on your added salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So show me a view, show me by a show of hands if you are actually making the otolenge soup or you didn't know about it and you're just sticking with mostly what we've got. And then I may put the otolenge soup on for next week because I
Definitely put the olengi soup on. I would like to try it. I didn't even know about it.
Well, hold on, March. Let me find out. Marcia, are you making the otolenge or no? All right. Anybody else? Denise, Hannah, are you guys making the regular pea soup or the otolenge? You can't say yes.
Regular.
Pea soup.
Pea soup. All right. So I'm going to put the otolenge on for next week, Carol, and we're going to learn from you guys who are trying it this week. And Terry's thumbs up on at least the mint, and we'll make that again next week just so that we all can try it.
Suren was going to join us. I don't see him on though, to cook with us tonight, but we just talked about it yesterday, so he might not have, either he's in a meeting or he didn't get to get the ingredients, but I'm sure one night he will join us.
Great. And to remind people who were on the call with Dr. Aruna last time, that's her husband who cooks often, right?
Yes.
And I will at some point lead us in a couple of international soups, I think I was hearing. So that's great. And the experiment of delivering pints of soup to her to share with her clients seems to be going quite well. So
yeah,
I think.
So she said yesterday that she would just as soon have quarts. And I told her she's going to get pints because that's what we have now. But it could be a mixture. Yesterday, I delivered a mixture of last week's soup, half pints, half quarts. But I said, if they get 2 pints, they'll put one in the freezer, and use it another time.
Now, does she want more yet, or she wants to stay just with what you and Carol are producing?
I just got a text from her literally a minute ago where she said no more this week.
Okay.
But she said maybe next week. So yeah, I think because I gave it to her at the end of last cooking, so Monday night, and then Marcia just gave her some more today. So I think that's why she's okay.
Yeah, but they plan to give out between 50 and 100 bags of groceries, and so in each grocery bag they'll add a soup. So
well, she doesn't have 50 or 100 soups.
No, but it's over the course of a month.
Oh, okay.
They give it out. So I think if we give it to her gradually, because patients come in, every day. So whenever they come in, that's when they get their bag full of groceries, I guess. And they're working it out with one of the pantries, I think, to try to get some healthy foods.
Good. If they need help with that, I can help them with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see how they do, but don't let them write that off as an option, because we just did that for some families from Paint Branch High School who didn't know where to turn to get food, and we hooked them up with one of those food assistance providers and a delivery vehicle.
Very cool.
Can I ask about other things other than soup?
You can absolutely go wherever you want us. Take us wherever you want, Marge.
I have 2 brand new size 44 men's suits. I have I think it's a KitchenAid blender. I have a crock pot. I have a plethora of things, because a friend of mine who's moved to Sarasota a couple of years ago, like at COVID time, sold her house last week or something, and I got a bunch of stuff from her and then from other people. It turns out that the room I'm storing it in needs to host people at the end of August, which all of a sudden means I need to get this stuff out of there sooner rather than later.
Okay. Send me
I
pictures of the soups, pictures and sizes of the soups, and I can definitely take that. You said something about a Cuisinart and something about
an old KitchenAid blender, not a Cuisinart. I have that.
The blender works.
A soup pot. I have an ashtray. My understanding is that these.
I think I'm not going to do the ashtray, but everything else I can place for you.
No ashtrays.
Yeah.
We're trying to discourage smoking, so instead they should burn their houses down. This is not nice.
You know what? If you want to come and do a setup, you can put the ashtray in, but I have such a bad sense of ashtrays.
I don't disagree with you. This is a nice, crystally looking ashtray. It's very heavy.
What, Marge, for you, I'll take the ashtray.
Candy dish.
Deb, I will tell you, I actually have an ashtray, an old ashtray of my grandfather's, because he smoked a pipe, and I use it to serve dips in. It's very deep.
Okay. You guys have convinced me, and Marge, I can't look at Marge's beautiful face and say no to her for too long. So that's it, Marge. I'll take it.
You are too kind. Okay, so we need to get this out of here sometime before the end of August, okay?
Oh my goodness, that's easy, Marge. I love you.
We got weeks. We got weeks and weeks.
Okay. We'll make it happen. Send me an email so I don't forget about you.
Okay, I'll sort of send you a list once I can get back in there, because of course my husband has COVID, so he's sleeping in that room.
I didn't know that.
Oh God.
How'd that happen? Oh, from when he went away last week?
Maybe. I can't imagine where else he got it, because as we know, he doesn't go anyplace.
He runs all the time. We know that.
Well, obviously he stopped running during COVID, but he started running again yesterday. I think he was so pissed off that he tested positive a second time, that he decided, screw it, I feel fine, I'm going running. So he ran yesterday, which was awful, and he ran today, which was beautiful. But he's still testing positive. I'm bummed. He's bummed. He's really bummed. He's down there, and I can't do any sorting of items. So,
but he feels fine.
He feels fine now. Yeah, he's fine. He had a cold. He thought he had a cold. He thought after about 2 or 3 days, he thought, I'll test. I think he got the cold Saturday night. He tested Monday night, last Monday night, after the call, and he tested positive.
Yeah, because I hadn't heard.
Oh. Yeah, so I banished him to the den level.
Wow.
Now it's making me cough. I do not have COVID. And now my son, who has some sort of cold or whatever, keeps testing negative. He's tested 3 times now, negative all the time. So he's assuming he's not really sick. I mean, thank goodness it was only a cold.
Right.
Poor Dave.
All right. Send him our best, poor thing.
Thank you. Will do. You know, on top of everything else, another reason we couldn't go down to see Phila, because he was, he was in North Carolina. He was sick and we didn't know it. I mean, and I'm so sorry we couldn't see it, because everything I've heard has been so positive.
My husband is waiting for his soup, so I'm going to sign off.
All right, Terry. Thank you so much.
Walking in saying, is it done? Is it done?
You know what? We love that he loves your soups. Have a good night, Terry. Have a good week.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
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 So I think we've got maybe somebody lined up to do a soup towards the end of August. So August is tomatoes and zucchinis. What other veggies are people going to get overwhelmed with in their garden this month that we want to find new ways to use? Just tomatoes and zucchini? Peppers? Oh, like a red pepper soup, maybe. I've had hot red pepper soup, but never a chilled one. That might be good. I'll look.
Cucumbers? Do people grow cucumbers?
Did we do a cucumber? You know, I was looking at Smitten Kitchen had out today a lentil salad. How do you guys feel about making a salad and delivering it in place of soup? I'd be okay with that. Would you all? Yeah, I'm getting a thumbs up from Denise. No from Marge. How come, Marge?
Because these soups because the item needs to be frozen and you can't freeze a salad and then deliver it. It would be very hard.
You can if all it is lentils, chopped tomato. What her lentil salad that she says it is impossible not to just devour.
I mean, it sounds delicious, but
all it is chopped tomatoes, spices, and lentils. And I think you could freeze that.
I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how the tomatoes would come out.
What they used in the original recipe was a salsa from Trader Joe's and a lentils from Trader Joe's. And she said, look, I'm giving you a salsa recipe that's a can of chopped tomatoes with a bunch of good spices and lentils, and it's the best salad. I feel, Marge, like we might want to try that if we can't come up.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try, and if they won't take it at
they'll take it. You kidding me?
If they don't want it, we'll bring it back and give it to someone who will want it.
It'll go to Rainbow and to Aruna. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. What do you think? Here's a cute little jalapeno. I've got bunches of them growing. Plus, I have all sorts of banana peppers, and I have some bell peppers. I'm very excited about a pepper soup. I think you should do a pepper. We have lots of peppers.
I wasn't even thinking about spicy peppers. Okay, I'm going to look for a pepper soup. We're going to use some of those peppers in the salsa, Marge, for the lentil salad. And I need one more. I think maybe we'll do like a legitimate tomato-y kind of yummy, maybe a roasted tomato, but served cold. Doesn't that sound yummy?
Sounds wonderful.
Maybe even with some goat cheese or something. I don't know. Says the one who always
how does the goat cheese freeze? Do we know anything about that? Anyone ever frozen goat cheese?
Maybe you're right. I'll stay away from that.
Well, I'd like to try it. I'm not sure how it would. We'll see what we end up getting here and see what it looks like after it's frozen. If I have a pint, maybe I'll try it on a pint.
Okay.
I give the pints to friends of mine. A friend of mine who turned 90 last Tuesday.
Aww,
so it was very exciting. So
good.
Yes. So
and she'll give you the honest feedback because she's 90 and she doesn't care about lying to you.
No, she's the one who does a couple of things. She feels so bad that she can't cook with us because it's just too much for her. She can't do it. She's the one who gave me one of the things I have is a 12-quart pot that she gave me that because she doesn't cook soup anymore. And she always gives me they eat a lot of plain yogurt. She always gives me her yogurt container.
Okay. So she's doing her part.
She is definitely doing her part. And she sends me soup recipes if she sees anything interesting. And she also does tastings. I think in the past month, I gave her 3 pints of soup. Anything that, if it's too much, if there's too much left over, it's a pint, she gets it. So.
Who wants to say hi to Mom? Here comes Mom.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mom.
How's the soup going?
Hi, Mom.
How's the soup coming?
Good.
It's going well. We wish you could.
Good.
I wish I was there.
You are. This is as there as we get.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than it used to be.
How so?
We get to see each other and talk to each other.
Since we created the Zoom soups. Yeah. Much more fun.
Yeah. Or since computers.
Yes. Indeed.
Or all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Am I interrupting?
No, we're cooking soups. We already had one sign off.
We're simmering.
We're simmering.
I'm always simmering.
My mother's with you, Marge.
But I don't see her with a wine glass. She needs to work on that.
You know what?
It's
I think she left it in the other room. She didn't realize that we do wine while we cook, Marge.
Oh,
Cheers.
I didn't know that. I definitely would have brought it. You're drinking white wine?
This is red.
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay.
No, we drank
How many
red
are
wine.
we today?
We had somebody sign off already. Hannah's cooking from New York.
Hannah?
Hannah, it says right here, Hannah's iPad.
Oh.
And Hannah's cooking from New York. Everybody else is in the DC area right now. Yeah.
And will she bring the stuff around to New York?
Yeah, of course. I do when I'm up there.
Do you?
Yeah.
You take it to your fire station there?
No, there are outdoor refrigerators in New York.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful.
Hannah, when I was cooking soup 2 weeks ago in New York, I was with a friend who lives in the East Village. So I was walking her home with our soups because there was supposed to be a free outdoor fridge at 6th and like Avenue, I don't know, pretty far east. And so we walked over there, and it's kind of a rehab house. And so it was inside. And when we walked in, we went upstairs because the address was right. And we saw kind of a social worker guy. And I said, oh, we're here to put some soup in the refrigerator. And he said, that's fantastic. How did you know about us? And will you leave one out? I'm going to have one now. So it was kind of, it's interesting what you learn about as you're schlepping around with your soups, trying to find where you want to share them. So it was a good place. The guy was happy to get them. And I guess it's a rehab house.
I'm not sure Hannah heard you.
She's muted. Hannah, you're muted. So I'm not hearing you.
Maybe she's not hearing you.
Yeah, her internet is not quite working.
Oh, okay. So
there you are, Hannah. I couldn't hear you. What were you saying?
The 15th Street one.
Yeah.
When the 15th Street fridge is closed, I sometimes go to First Avenue and 12th.
Yeah.
And there are people hanging around there, and they immediately come and take the soups. The same on 15th.
First and 12th. That is fantastic to know, because we went to the one I've been to on Elizabeth and, just one block west of Houston and north, I'm sorry. And the guy said, oh, we're about to clean the fridge. Please don't leave us any soups. So that's why we started walking around. So First and 12th is a good one.
Right. Yeah. Right. If you, it's very easy to get to. You just take the 14th Street bus.
Okay, good.
So it's
good. Thank you. Man, you
that.
venture far downtown. Next time I cook in New York, I'm going to coordinate with you, because I didn't realize you come all the way down.
Okay, we can meet at 15th Street.
Yeah.
My knees are finally better, so I think I can make the stairs.
I'm so glad, and I'll help you. So that's great.
Hannah, this is important.
Wow.
What did you do? I need to know what you did with your knees, because my knee has been horrible since about June 12th. And I've had a cortisone shot, and I started taking Celebrex 3 or 4 days ago now, because they tell me it's all arthritis. Have you done anything? Have you done a few Flexa shot or anything?
Well, what I did was I was running for a bus. My knee was fine. It was my good knee.
Mm-hmm.
And I was running for a bus and hyperextended my right leg as I landed on it. And so I pulled everything and could barely walk. But so I had PT weeks, and I do have arthritis behind that kneecap, but they don't consider it bad. But really the just icing and recovery did it.
How long, Hannah? How long did it take you?
Well, I think I did this in May. So it took like 2 months, I think. It's still a little sore in the back when if I stretch it out and lie down on it. So, but I can walk, and I finally now can go up and down stairs, which means I can go to the subway at 14th Street. I couldn't go up and down stairs I mean, pulling normal stepping. I mean, if you do one leg at a time but I haven't had any injections. I try to stay away from that, but really good PT.
They wouldn't.
And also I wear Hoka. Do you know about Hoka shoes or Hoka? Oh my God.
Spell it.
They're sneaky. Hoka, and they have a sole that's about an inch thick, and you feel like you're bouncing. They're very lightweight, and they really it makes it very easy, especially if you're walking on the sidewalk. It gives a lot so that it doesn't hurt your legs. At least I find. But my PT said that she won't recommend them for people who have a balance problem because they're kind of wide.
Yeah. Or not while you're drinking wine, Marge.
No, wide is the problem because I have narrow feet. That will probably not work for me unless I built it up inside. The PT won't work. I have a Baker's cyst. They did find that, but I couldn't. I mean, my knee went out at one point when I was on June 19th.
1 second, I have to turn my soup down.
Okay. Yeah. So I've gone back and he put me on the Celebrex, which seems to be working, except it's supposed to be like a 24-hour pill, and I had a terrible night's sleep. By 3 o'clock, I kept waking up, and I was awake from 3 until maybe 5:30, and then I did finally get back to sleep, but it's horrible. I mean, when you turn the TV on at 5 in the morning,
So Marge, my mom is offering that the next time you have from 3 to 5 awake, call her because she'll play cards with you.
Can she play Mahjong online?
Oh, she so can.
Mahjong, canasta, yeah.
Marge, everybody.
I have not signed up for the canasta online yet because we do play canasta occasionally in person, and I keep thinking the group I play with doesn't play Mahjong online. I play Mahjong online with other people, and I really like the
real I play by myself.
Do you play the real Maj or some other thing?
Real Maj, yeah.
Yeah, real Maj. Okay. Yeah, let me know when you want to play, and we'll play together.
What's your name?
I think it's Margie Sue, Marjiesue. I think it's Margie Sue.
You're going to remember that.
I'm going to send it to her right now.
Okay.
And what's your name?
I'm Joni, JONICS, I think.
Right. It's like you don't know if you don't. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Marge, you said MARJISUE?
MARJIE.
JIESUE.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. But give her my email address so we can play sometime, but not at 3 in the morning. I don't normally do that, or 5 in the morning, or whatever time it was.
Oh, I do.
That's when she needs you, Marge.
Yeah, but
I play at all times of the day and night.
See, I play sometimes during the day, and I haven't tried the real canasta yet. I really am interested in it because I have a friend who's trying to learn. But
I'll tell you, it's good, except the dummy that is your partner. I mean, the robot that is your partner.
It's really a dummy.
Is a moron. Yeah. Yeah. The opponents are okay, but the partner is bad.
Because they don't know how, you don't know how the partner's going to play. The thing I've learned a lot it's interesting, from an online game, I learned a lot about which hands really have more success. They play hands repeatedly that I would never try. But they have success.
They play a lot of special hands, which I will not play because my group doesn't play those hands.
I don't know those hands. I can't play those hands.
Yes, I ignore those. But the opponents or the robot or the partner can play those things.
Yeah, I'll give it a try one of these days. I haven't done that yet, but
it's fun, Marge.
Okay,
it's
fun. I've been playing for a long time.
And after you get bored with the mahjong, you can switch over to the canasta.
All right, Marcia, I saw you tasting soup. What were your thoughts?
It's good. I just tasted the broth because I'm waiting for it to reboil. I seem to not be able to read directions, so I thought I was supposed to put in half the peas. So I now put in the rest of my peas, so now it has to boil again. But
you guys have to know that when Marcia does her soups, she always starts where we are finished. And then she comes up with the most interesting and successful fixes to whatever it is that she is left with when we all hang up, right, Marcia?
Only sometimes. Sometimes they're perfect to start with, but it tastes good.
You like your broth?
I thought that there was a lot of butter to start, but it adds to it. It tastes buttery.
Good.
I haven't added salt or pepper yet because so far it tastes good. So we'll see.
That's great. I'm glad. We got a convert, Marge. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I've made broth before, but I don't like take all the bits and do it. And now, like tonight, I still have greens from last week's leeks because we had so much. I gave away a whole tub to Aruna, and I still have another whole tub from last week, and now new stuff from this week. So I'll probably boil it all up again.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I think you just keep adding whatever little bits you cook with during the week. And when you have a bag full, you throw it in the water. And I always add the dried mushrooms, but Marge takes whatever nasty mushrooms she's got. Either you can't go wrong. It just gives more flavor to whatever you're making.
I think the mushroom and the leek is a really great combination because the mushroom is sort of umami and meaty, and the leek is a little sweet and light, and so it's like a perfect melding. It really is a great broth. I love it.
If I don't have nasty mushrooms, I have one of those containers from Costco that has the mixed mushrooms, the dried ones.
Yeah, that's
and I sometimes throw some of them into my broth to, if I have no other mushrooms. And I know those are expensive, but they're dried and they're really not that expensive when you think of it in terms of.
And you can throw in dried herbs that you're kind of like, I want to get new ones already. These have been sitting around forever. Throw them in.
I don't have such a thing because I always cook soup. What I do throw in is I throw in the stems when I'm pulling things off. Now, today I did not throw the stems in because I felt that mint was a little bit not what I wanted in a vegetable base. How do you think about that? What do you think?
I mean, if you're going to be putting mint in your soup, I can't think of any reason why your broth shouldn't have some mint in it. I would do it.
You see that green stuff growing next to the wine bottle?
Yeah.
Over my shoulder. That's the mint. It's been sitting there a couple of weeks now, in a vase with water. Some of it has actually rooted in that thing, but that's from the neighbor's house. That's the leftover mint. So if in fact I find it less minty than I want it to be, I'll add in some more. Yeah.
Has anyone tried? You were talking about actually dried mushrooms, right? As opposed to.
Yeah, but we recently bought that too, Marge. I like that stuff.
Yeah, I
think that's the stuff.
I'm sorry, I said Marcia.
So on one of Lisa's many trips, remember now she's in Hawaii because God knows we should all be in Hawaii with little drinks with umbrellas or whatever. Exactly. She brought me, I think, the mushroom powder or whatever from Japan. I haven't tried it yet, but I suspect it's similar to what you've got there.
Yeah.
It looks really interesting. It looks really good. I keep thinking it's too good to make into a KindWorks soup. I'm sorry. I love mushrooms.
We forgive you.
I love mushrooms. They're so good.
Carol, you look like you have something to add.
Oh, no. I was just listening to the back and forth. I like all these different options for mushrooms for broth. And I was going to say for mushrooms, I find dried mushrooms can be hard to find. So I was thrilled to hear you get them at Costco. I've never seen them at Costco.
You know where else you can get them real cheap? And I hope they're of good quality. I worry about some of the packaged foods there, but the Asian markets. I always buy a big, huge thing of really cheap dried mushrooms. And you can pick out which kinds of mushrooms you want in those packs. Yeah, here she comes. Look.
Look at the size of that thing. It's huge. It's just huge. Yeah. If they have it, it's in those vegetable aisles, somewhere. I don't know which aisle. I don't know the numbers of the aisles there. I'm sorry, but
No,
I agree. GW has tons and tons and tons of different dried mushrooms, but most of them don't have translated packages, which is a little worrisome because you have to look at them and say, oh yeah, maybe I'll take one of these and one of those. But they also have a wonderful selection of fresh mushrooms. I was very surprised about 2 weeks ago. I had to go from point A to point B, and I was thinking I was going from point A to up to GW, and I realized I'm on Beers Mill Road. I can actually stop at the Korean market, which I used to go to many times years ago. And it has become very Latino oriented. The things that used to be there, the service bar with the fresh Korean foods, nothing. It's gone. It has really changed. That being said, it also sells zucchini for the same price as they sell them at GW, which was $1.49 a pound, whereas Giant had it on sale for $1.99 a pound. And what were we buying? 6 zucchinis and 4 yellow squash or something last week, something like that.
Yeah.
So it was, I was passing by anyway. It was worthwhile stopping, but I was so disappointed. I hadn't been in there in probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, and it had really changed, I guess, to match the neighborhood and to match what they could sell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there are 68 servings.
Yeah, it goes a long way, Carol.
Yeah.
Wow. 10 calories per serving. I'm surprised it has carbohydrates. It says that it has 3 carbs per serving.
Well, that's fiber.
Excuse me?
It's fiber, right?
Oh, you're right. 2 grams of that 3 is dietary fiber. You're right. Okay. Yeah, but they are pretty good. You have to soak them first if you're going to put them into a real recipe, but in soup,
in boiling water, right?
Yeah. I think for 25 minutes. Let me see what it says. 20 minutes? What does it say? 25 minutes. Allow to soak for 25 minutes and then drain.
Yeah. I put them in my stuffing at Thanksgiving. They're very good for they make them strong. Yeah.
See, I always make a rice stuffing because I don't like bread.
Oh, really? Well, I make stuffing. A lot of people put it in the turkey, and I don't do a turkey. I just do stuffing. So I need it to be really like gamey stuffing, so the mushrooms really fit the bill.
But that's a good idea. I usually use just plain white mushrooms, but this would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, it does. It definitely ups your game in the stuffing department.
Remind me in November, please.
I want to go back to these Hoka shoes for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Do they run particularly big or small or exactly true to size? Anybody know? Hannah or Carol?
I heard that they were wide.
I know. I have a wide foot, so that works out. And that will accommodate my excessive bunion that I will never have cut off. So that's good too. All right. Nobody knows. No worries. I'll go try them on.
Right. I haven't tried them, but they do have them at Racket and Jog, which is
okay. Yeah.
Usually pretty decent pricing. Although you might be able to get them at Amazon for cheaper or something. I don't know, but
where's the place you mentioned?
Racket and Jog in Bethesda.
Yeah, although you might have to order them from Rockville. They started doing free shipping during COVID. I don't know if they're still doing it, but it was a really great deal because when you didn't want to go and be near anybody trying on shoes, they were sending them for free. So that was nice.
I'm not happy. I did a search on narrow width on the website and there's nothing.
For Hoka?
Yeah, for narrow width. Nothing in narrow width. Which means I have to lean on the smaller side. All
right, Marcia, how's your soup?
It's good. I've salted it a bit, and I feel like the salt has made it less minty, but I think, I haven't blended it yet. I think once it's all blended, we'll be okay.
Denise, how's your soup coming along?
Good. I tasted it, and the only thing I'm doing is giving it a few more simmering minutes because I don't know if it was the mint or the parsley, but some of the leaves were tough. I feel like the leaves have to be simmered a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the parsnips take a while, so mine are still getting down to soft.
Yeah.
But it is my favorite vegetable. So. And that's another thing, like once the parsnips are blended up, that's going to add a lot of taste as well. So I'm not going to add too much more of anything, I think, until I blend it.
The parsnips will also make it thicker, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'll be, if you want it more of a watery base, then you might need to add more liquid, but parsnips will be good. They'll taste good.
I love the way these shoes look. They look beautiful. They really are cool looking. I want, you know, of course, the only part of my body that isn't chubby is my feet. Which it's like, this is not fair.
They are tall and pretty.
Yeah, they're really nice looking. Oh, well, we'll see. Maybe I'll go down to Bethesda, though, and try some on and see just how off they are.
Good idea.
You know, I can always tell if a shoe is not a narrow, I have to go down half a size.
Also bring thick socks with you, so that may help just a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Right. This is probably not the time of year to be trying them on, but I'll try to remember.
But also take your Celebrex with dinner.
Oh, really? Not with breakfast?
No, well, if you want to sleep through the night.
You're right.
So it's worth
okay,
a try.
so I'll take it.
What a good call.
Thank you. I'll take it tonight. I think this must have been the fourth day, because the first 2 nights I took it with the Aleve, which of course you're maybe not supposed to do. And I didn't have a problem. And last night I didn't take the Aleve, and boy, did I have a problem.
Well, did you take the Celebrex today, though, already?
I took it at, I don't know, 10 a.m. maybe, 9 or 10.
Yeah, so you may have to skip, you know, to take
I'll take it right before I go to bed. Of course, the problem is they tell you to take it with food.
With food, yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll give it, right. It's always an experiment. Maybe I'll give it a night, and I'll make sure to take it early tomorrow morning so that.
No, she wants you to take it at night.
No, but if I take it early tomorrow morning, because I took it pretty late today. I took it later than I normally would. Because
but she doesn't want you to take it tomorrow morning and tomorrow night. She wants you to skip tomorrow morning and take
I don't think I can do that. But I could take an Aleve tomorrow morning, because that's a 12-hour pill.
You could do that.
Ooh. I'll think, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, and then wait until tomorrow night, take it with dinner. Yeah, I think I'll play that game, because
our work here is done, Marcia.
Good thing I didn't let my malpractice lapse yet, although it is on suspension.
I know.
Don't blame me for anything.
I've never heard. I didn't hear any of this. It's not being recorded. We know nothing.
Yeah, I'm going to hang up on this call so that poor Marcia is not having to deal with any videos that show up down the road.
Oh my gosh, but the evidence is recorded.
That's a problem.
What upsets me is that the doctor knew I was taking Aleve and didn't say you need to stop taking Aleve before you take Celebrex. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who said something about this, and that's why I went and looked it up. Is there anything I can take with the Celebrex that will help the inflammation?
Well, Tylenol won't help the inflammation, but it'll help it work better. You could take Tylenol tonight.
Okay.
If you don't have liver problems.
No, I don't have liver problems, and I do have Tylenol. Okay, I'll take the Tylenol tonight and see if I do better. I mean, it just was awful. I could not, I just couldn't sleep. And of course, the dog is passed out. The good news about my husband having COVID is that he's sleeping downstairs and he's not going through all of these iterations of adding a new drug.
Yeah.
And, But yeah, the Tylenol will work. Okay, I'll try that.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Has anybody other than me and Carol read Mad Honey yet?
I read that a while ago. That's about the beekeeper and wherever with the
Yes.
son and the girlfriend and the
yes.
Yes. A couple of months ago. Why are we talking about this?
Because I just finished it yesterday and Carol has been waiting for me to finish it. So I thought, all right, we've got a few minutes. Did anybody else read it? And should we talk about it or should we not? Hannah and Denise, anybody read Mad Honey?
I haven't read it.
Okay.
Oh,
I'd like to hear about it.
Fabulous.
I like
it's a Jodi Picoult book. So, you know, it's about a contemporary issue and it usually involves some kind of a trial. This one she wrote with someone else. And I don't know, Carol.
Jennifer Boylan.
Jennifer Boylan.
Right?
Jennifer Boylan.
And so, Denise, you know about the book, yeah?
No, I just saw something on one of my social media feeds today, and it was actually a rather odd picture. It was Jennifer Boylan on one knee, and they were doing like this fake proposal. She was doing a proposal to Jodi Picoult. So I think maybe they're doing another book together or something like that. That's all I could gather. And they were talking about Mad Honey in the comments. Oh, I love Mad Honey, and that's all I know.
Well, let me say, I did not love Mad Honey until now. I was so right, Carol? I was like, no, this book is making me very angry. I'm not loving this book. And yet you can't put it down. You are really desperate to read the whole book. And, you know, afterwards you feel far more, you have so much greater understanding of a world that you may not have had before. You may have, and I didn't, but I really feel far more aware of what some people go through and that I needed to understand and didn't before and didn't have access to. I don't know. How do you guys feel, Marge and Carol? I ended up really glad that I read it and kind of enjoying the book.
I got drawn in from the beginning, so I didn't have that feeling of not enjoying it, but I definitely agree with the latter part. I learned so much, excuse me, about a world I really knew nothing about.
What world is that, Carol?
Pardon?
What world is that?
Well, if we say what world, that kind of gives away some things.
That's okay.
For anyone who's going to read, the LGBTQ world.
Okay.
And what really, I guess one of the things that I came away with was the notion that the word trans to me is a really improper word, because I think there are people who truly feel born in the wrong body, and so they're not like trans, they're not becoming someone else, they are that person. They're fixing their body to reflect who they truly identify as. So I think the whole word trans is like a mistake.
That's such an interesting and good point.
I don't know how we got to that word, but the trans community is happy with it. So who am I to say it's wrong? But it just feels really wrong to me, because it's not, you're not transforming.
They should be calling them, they're in fixio.
Something. Yeah. And I'm not sure if that's true for every trans person, but certainly, and you know, you hear this too from like moms of kids who say, you know, from the time of 2, I just knew that my kid was gay or something, you know, I think for some people, it's extremely obvious to them and to those who love them early on what their gender is, which may or may not be the gender they were assigned at birth, or what their sexual orientation is, which may not be what is, cis. And
well, the other thing is that putting together gay and trans is like 2 totally separate things. One is a sexual attraction, and one is
the identity.
Nothing to do with that, because once you're trans, you could.
The way you phrase that, lump together a bunch of like disparate people who are trying to like make a point about who they are. It's so rude, right?
Right. It's like what Hitler did, you know, like the gypsies and the homosexuals and the Jews, and they all go together, right?
The dogs.
Yeah. I mean, it's dehumanizing. I mean, in a way. So,
Marsha, I think you should read this book.
Okay, but I have a book. I'm going to read that, but I have a book for you guys too. The Light Pirate. Have you guys? It's a few years old, but it's a novel about climate change that I thought was really well written.
Oh, and Denise has some books we have to read too. Yes, yes, but oh God, you guys.
But look at how efficient we're being. We're combining book club and cooking, and
yes,
social issues, and
yes,
it's all in one.
All right, I'm writing down Light Pirate. I'm gonna hang up and let you guys go. And next week we're gonna hear if Denise is on next week. Denise has some recommendations for us also that will, address all of our worst nightmares about the world that we live in.
Moi?
Through it. What?
Moi?
Yeah, when we were talking last Thursday or Friday, remember you said, "Oh my God, I'm reading this about the food we eat."
Oh, I'm still. I have to give you a chance to finish it.
What's
I'm reading Unprocessed People. Unprocessed people? Wait a minute now.
That's what you said.
Ultra processed people.
Oh God. I think processed food is really going to be our nemesis more than, anything else that we eat. It's tough. So I should read that one too.
It's an interesting viewpoint on, what about that food is harmful.
So harmful. Yeah. Well, I think maybe we should consider a kind book soup or a kind soup book, because that's now that we're all getting experience at cooking soups, we don't need to talk about the soup as much. We can talk about books.
It's so true. Marcia, say it again. What was the book about with light?
The Light Pirate.
The Light Pirate. Okay.
It's an easy to read book, but it's so prescient with the current situation, and it was written a couple of years ago. So,
all right. Well, if anybody wants to pull up either of those two books and get started on it, shoot me an email, and we will, if you all are into it, we will read the same books for the next couple of weeks, and we'll get to talk books while we're not talking soup.
Or I have the other half dozen books on the stack, right? I've got so many books stacked up. That said, I read a book, and I want to say it was post-apocalyptic. It wasn't really post-apocalyptic. It was post-climate issue thing about a woman who decides she's going to follow the migration of birds from Ireland down to Antarctica and back. I can't remember which bird it was. It's the only bird that does this.
I read that, yeah.
You read that? What's the name of it?
Like Migrations, I think it's called, right?
Oh, maybe it is. I have to go back and look at I have to go back and determine what it was. It was a fascinating book.
And beautiful.
Scared the life out of me. And after that, yesterday on TV, I was watching something, and it was talking about the decrease in migratory birds, and it's significantly decreased. Like there were only, 10 years ago, there were 100% or whatever, twice as many birds or more of this whatever type puffins it was they were talking about than there are today. And it's kind of scary because when I was in Iceland, they were still serving puffin in season as something on menus.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called Migrations.
I think you might be right. I think I should look and see if that's the one that it is.
Very interesting.
It was very good. Why do I not have it on this list? Maybe I read it last year. Who knows? Oh, there it is.